David Hansen, the arrogant manager of the department, had no idea that the woman he routinely insulted was on a secret mission. He couldn't see past his own self-importance to realize that Sarah wasn't who she seemed. She was an undercover inspector sent to uncover the rot within his department. And one careless act throwing Sarah's lunch in the trash would unravel his career and destroy everything he'd built. Let's rewind to the beginning. Sarah Taylor, 45 years old, was a master of blending into the background. Her strong, practical build and deep brown skin told a story of resilience and grit. Her sharp brown eyes missed nothing, but she rarely spoke out of turn. She had perfected the art of quiet strength, a skill she would soon use to devastating effect. Dressed in her blue jumpsuit and worn sneakers, Sarah moved through the office hallways unnoticed by the higher-ups. She was just the janitor to them, someone who cleaned up their messes and vanished before they even noticed her presence. But Sarah's role was far from ordinary. She had been sent by the company's oversight division to investigate mismanagement, corruption, and racial bias. The department she worked in had long been plagued by complaints of discrimination and unsafe practices. Her mission was to uncover the truth, but to do so, she had to remain invisible. One day, as Sarah entered the break room, she heard the hum of casual conversation. Employees laughed over coffee cups, exchanging stories of their weekend plans. But her focus was drawn to David Hansen, the department manager. Hansen was everything she expected: tall, sharply dressed, with slick-back blonde hair and an air of entitlement that filled the room. He carried himself with the arrogance of someone who believed he was untouchable. As Sarah placed her cleaning supplies on the counter, she overheard him complaining to his assistant. "Someone needs to put that lazy janitor in her place," he said, his voice dripping with disdain. "I'm sick of seeing her take long lunch breaks. She doesn't even do her job right." Sarah's stomach tightened, but she kept her composure. She had learned long ago not to let comments like these rattle her. Then Hansen grabbed Sarah's lunch bag from the counter and tossed it into the trash. "No lunch today, I guess," he smirked, clearly amused by his own actions. Sarah didn't react. She simply picked up her cleaning supplies and gave him a cold, piercing look. For a brief moment, Hansen hesitated. Something about her gaze unsettled him, but he quickly shrugged it off. That single moment would become his undoing. Over the next week, Sarah kept her head down, continuing to do her job without complaint. But behind the scenes, she was working tirelessly to gather evidence. The department was in chaos. Employees whispered about unsafe working conditions, excessive workloads, and unfair treatment. Hansen ran the department like a dictatorship, punishing anyone who dared to speak up. One afternoon, Sarah overheard a heated argument while cleaning the men's restroom. Monica, a longtime employee, was confronting Hansen. Monica, a black woman, had worked for the company for years, but was now seeking legal help to file a grievance against him for racial discrimination. "Just stick it out," Hansen snapped. "You've got a good job here. Don't throw it all away over something petty." Monica's voice trembled, but her determination was clear. "Petty? Being treated like I don't belong here is not petty, Mr. Hansen, and I'm not the one who's going to be thrown out." Sarah listened from the hallway, her heart sinking. Monica's courage inspired her, but it also highlighted how far Hansen's toxic behavior had spread. Sarah began gathering evidence in earnest. She photocopied incriminating documents, took photos of unsafe working conditions, and recorded Hansen's demeaning comments. She also spoke to employees, many of whom confided in her about their experiences. Monica, in particular, shared recordings she had secretly made of Hansen's discriminatory remarks. Together, Sarah and Monica built a case that would be impossible to ignore. But Hansen's arrogance continued to escalate. In meetings, he belittled employees, often targeting women of color with his sharpest insults. He acted as though he were invincible. Sarah stayed silent, watching and waiting. One tense afternoon, Monica had another confrontation with Hansen. "You can't keep treating us like this," Monica shouted, her voice filled with frustration. "Just shut up and do your job," Hansen snapped back, his face red with anger. "I'm done being quiet," Monica said, her voice trembling but resolute. Sarah stepped out from the shadows and approached Hanson's office. She knocked firmly on the door. Hanson looked up, clearly annoyed. "What do you want?" Sarah's voice was calm but icy. "We need to talk." He smirked dismissively. "About what?" "About your job and how you're about to lose it," Sarah replied, locking eyes with him. Hanson laughed. "You're crazy." But Sarah didn't flinch. "I've got evidence. And I'm not the only one. You won't get away with this." Days later, Sarah submitted her findings to the company's oversight division. The response was swift and severe. When Hanson was called into a meeting with senior management, he walked in confident, assuming it was routine. But as evidence of his toxic behavior was laid out in front of him, his smug demeanor quickly crumbled. The department was placed under review, and Hanson was suspended. When Sarah's undercover role was revealed, it sent shockwaves through the company. She wasn't just a janitor, she was a senior inspector who had been quietly building a case against him all along. The company issued a public apology, and Hanson was escorted out of the building by security. His reputation, built over years of arrogance and abuse, was destroyed. As for Sarah, she walked out of the office with her head held high. The lunch Hanson had thrown away seemed insignificant now. What mattered was that justice had been served. Monica's bravery also paid off. Her grievance became the centerpiece of a broader push for employee rights and racial equality within the company. David Hanson, once a man who believed he was untouchable, became a cautionary tale, a reminder that arrogance and prejudice have no place in the workplace. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to Unfolded Tales Explained and press the bell icon so you never miss a new upload.